What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Joshua from Ray's Reviews. In today's monthly pitch video, yeah, I'm still working on a title for the intro for that. I will be rewriting, or more specifically reworking, The Flash Season 9. Now, for those who don't know, The Flash Season 9 was the final season of the CW Flash starring Grant Gustin. It finished a few months ago, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think the season was that bad, but it definitely had a lot of weaknesses that I hope to make better with this reworking video. So I started watching The Flash in Season 4. I pretty much started to watch a majority of the CW shows when like their fourth or third season started airing. So like I started watching The Flash when Season 4 came out. I started watching Legends of Tomorrow when Season 3 came out. Those were like the main two shows I watched from the CW, not including Stargirl and sometimes Batwoman and Black Lightning. But yeah, so the Flash was the one that I stuck with the most. When I found out it was going to be the last season for Season 9, I was like, okay, hopefully they wrap up the story really well based on how the last few seasons have been. They haven't been that strong. They haven't been that great. I think, in my opinion, like, my top 3 seasons are Season 2, Season 4, and Season 6A, where Bloodwork is the main villain of Season 6A. So, sorry about that. Those are, like, my top 3 favorite seasons of this whole show. But I thought, you know what, I think it's time I start switching up to the DC side of my fandom, because obviously the last few pitch videos I've done were Marvel related. So I thought to switch up a little bit and do something DC related. So here we are. We have the rewriting of The Flash Season 9. But before I get into this reworking, let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed The Flash Season 9 or just if you enjoyed the Flash show in general, and if so, let me tell me what was your favorite season and who was your favorite character, and also who's your favorite villain, honestly. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you're never miss another one of these videos. I do a pitch / reworking video every single month. And this month is obviously going to be rewriting The Flash Season 9. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, while this season had a lot of messiness, it had a lot of convoluted things that I personally didn't care for and didn't really have much of an affiliation with. This season, the way I'm working it, will still have some of those aspects of it, but I feel like it will be a better format as to how Season 9 was in real life. So the main similarities that we're going to have in my reworking from the original season was that the Red Death arc will still happen. It will still be 5 episodes. So the first 5 episodes will still deal with the Red Arc storyline. The Cobalt Blue arc will still be like the final 4 episodes. And we will still have all 13 episodes. So the first 5 episodes will be the Red Death arc. The final 4 episodes will be the Cobalt Blue arc. But episodes 6 to 9, those are the episodes where I am absolutely changing. Those 3 episodes are going to be changed the most. But so without further ado, let's get into this. With episode 1, this whole season will pretty much take place a month after the events of Season 8. Where for those who don't remember or just didn't watch Season 8, Season 8 ended with Team Flash defeating the negative Reverse Flash, presumably killing him. So it ended with that, and this season will open up a month after the events of that season, and it will already be revealed that Iris is pregnant. That's something that we are not delaying at all. The season will automatically start off with Iris being pregnant, and Barry kind of feeling this responsibility to be with Iris the entire time and keeping her safe no matter what. Cecile and Allegra will already be superheroes, as the respective superheroes, Virtue for Cecile and Wavelength for Allegra. The reason I just wanted to do it in the first episode was because, as much as I kind of like Cecile and Allegra, their storylines were very much like were extended way too long for any type of length. So I just wanted to get their superhero names out of the way. They get their suits, and for the time being, they're kind of taking Barry's place, as he wants to be with Iris more and just get prepared for baby Nora arriving. If you remember in the original version of episode 1 of Season 9, Barry and Iris get stuck in a time loop. In this episode, in my version of it, Barry will be the only one who's stuck in a time loop until he realizes that he can't put his worries about Iris take control of him. Because throughout this whole episode, we will see Barry put his worries more about Iris than of the city. So Barry will do whatever it takes to try to protect Iris, but through this time loop, he realizes that he can't just put the responsibilities of the city behind Iris. So the episode will end with Barry stopping Captain Boomerang, but with Captain Boomerang get the item that he was supposed to get for Red Death. Red Death will be there, but it will be revealed that Red Death wanted Barry to be in that time loop just to see how much of a threat he will be for her. And for those who don't know, the whole reveal is that Red Death will remain the way that she was in the actual season, but it's going to be worked a little bit better. So yeah, so that's episode 1. Those are just main changes. And also another main change is that Allegra and Chester, they will already be a thing. That whole setup, the whole setup of them being like, will they, won't they relationship, I was just like, okay, just get it over with. They're already a couple. I'm not going to touch too much on their relationship because that was just something I just didn't care for. But I felt like that was just a necessity that needs to be done because of how seasons 7 and 8 just set it up. So in the beginning of in episode 1, Allegra and Chester are already a couple. Then we move on to episode 2, where in the original timeline, in the original season, Keon was introduced. That was Daniela Panabaker's new character. In this version, as much as I liked Keon, there was no purpose for her to be in this season. There was no purpose for her to exist. So in my version, Keon will not exist, and Caitlin will still be around, but she will be very different. She'll still be Caitlin, but the way I'm taking her is kind of more of a comic accurate route, where in the comics, Caitlin, she pretty much, when she became Killer Frost, she became more of like a ice vampire, a heat vampire in the comics, where in the show, as far as I can recall, they never really went with that. They just wanted her to be like a villain and stuff. When Killer Frost was first introduced, they just wanted her to be a villain, but then she obviously grew to be a hero and all that stuff. But so in my version, Frost and Caitlin will be combined into one being, and it will be Caitlin's personality with Frost's powers, but Caitlin will have this urge to try to kill people, to try to stay alive, to try to cure herself and try to bring Frost back. That's still going to be kind of like an arc that she'll have in this episode. Mark will explain what happened to Caitlin to the rest of the team, and he'll say that Caitlin needs heat to survive. Team Flash will try to help Caitlin, while Mark and Caitlin still want to try to bring Frost back. That's still going to be something that will push Chillblaine Mark throughout the season, throughout the majority of the Red Death arc, because that was something that I did really enjoy. I did really like that about Mark's character. I honestly did like that. That was something I felt like Chillblaine kind of got too much hate for. I feel like Chillblaine is a character that gets too much hate. I think he's an okay character. He's not one of the worst characters, but I think we definitely could make him better. We could have made him better with his arc. The whole Pied Piper plot will remain the same. Pied Piper and the Fiddler, those storylines will remain the same in this episode. And Mark will leave Team Flash. But this episode will change, because in this episode, at the end of this episode, after Pied Piper destroys the chamber that could possibly kill Caitlin if they try again, Mark will leave the team, and the episode will end with Red Death approaching him. So for us, the audience, we know that Chillblaine is going to possibly work for Red Death to try to bring Frost back. But for Team Flash, they're not going to know until episode 3. And then episode 3 pops around. Episode 3 will mainly stay the same, as Barry and Pied Piper will form their own organization of rogues, obviously being Pied Piper, Goldface, the Hotness. But also, in this version, we will have Caitlin be a member of the rogues, to pretty much be the Ice Master, and to try to stop Red Death and her rogues from doing whatever the hell they were trying to do. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't specifically remember what happened in the episode, like plot-wise, and why they needed to form the rogues. But together, they came together, and the episode will end with the Red Death reveal, and the episode will end with the reveal that Chillblaine is working with Red Death's team of rogues, and that Batwoman has been missing, and the Red Death is actually an alternate version of Batwoman. So then we go to episode 4, which is part 1 of the coming of Red Death or whatever. The episode pretty much stays entirely the same, but it's revealed that Red Death is from another universe, confirming to Team Flash that the multiverse is around. Something that I didn't really like about that episode specifically was how, or it's something that was just more confusing to me. I don't know if it was confusing to anyone else, but for me, it was just confusing on whether or not this version of Red Death was from another universe, or was she really from another timeline? That was just something I was just really confused. But so in this episode, it's just revealed that she's from another universe. It's just plain and simple. But Team Flash does not know how she got to their Earth. Then we have episode 5, which of all the 5 episodes, that is the first 5 episodes, that is like the biggest change I will have. And the first part is that the episodes, sorry, wrong thing. The main difference that happens in this, the main difference that will happen in this episode, will be that the Red Death and Flash will fight for a while. Their main fight is going to be happening throughout the entire time. Chillblaine will obviously have his change of heart and try to stop Red Death. He'll help Team Flash try to stop Red Death and the Rogues. And the Team Flash and their team of Rogues will fight Red Death's Rogues, which are obviously consist of Captain Boomerang, the Fiddler, Murmur, and Grodd. Grodd is a character that I felt like had no reason to turn back to normal. I feel like him being a villain was good because I like him as a villain. I don't really agree with how they made him into a pseudo anti-hero. I don't know. So in this version, I'm keeping him as a villain, and the way that the fight scenes will go with that is that it's Pied Piper and Caitlyn versus Murmur, Wavelength and Goldface versus Captain Boomerang, and Virtue and the Hotness versus Fiddler and Grodd. So it's like that's the way that the format works there. The Red Death's Rogues will have an upper hand against Team Flash and the Rogues and the good Rogues until Batwoman appears, and she temporarily fights Red Death, and she comes in, fights Red Death, and after a quick little fight, she gets taken down by Red Death, and right before Red Death is about to kill her, Flash comes in, defeats Red Death, but sees that but he doesn't see it, but for the audience, we see that there's a blue crystal that like kind of vanishes away from Red Death, confirming that the negative Speed Force was using Red Death. The negative Speed Force brought Red Death to Earth Prime, so to try to defeat the Flash. So that part will go the same. Iris explains that Red Death came to this Earth when she took Batwoman halfway across the world, and with the help of Luke Fox, they were able to locate Batwoman. I just wanted to just have Batwoman just be somewhere halfway across the world, and because Red Death would do something like that, in my opinion. So Red Death took Batwoman to the other side of the planet, and took her a while to get in contact with Luke and all that stuff. And the episode will end with Chillblaine leaving the team, and obvious tease that the negative Speed Force isn't done with Team Flash yet. So then we come to the biggest change that I'm having in this season, and that is episodes 6 to 8. In the original season, episodes 6 to 8 were nothing but filler. That's what they were. Episode 6, I believe, was a Dreamer-centric episode where it was like a Dreamer from Supergirl came in. Episode 7, I think it was like that whole like time loop thing. Well, not time loop. Like time going back in time thing. I don't know. I hated that episode. That episode was just a waste of time. So that episode, and then episode 8, if I'm not mistaken. I can't even remember what episode 8 was about. Oh no! I think that was no. That was like the Jinx episode, I think. But regardless, so episode 6 through 8 will be completely different in my version, and it'll be a 3-part Arrowverse final crossover, kind of to the extent of the Armageddon event that we got in season 8 in the beginning of season 8. But Bloodwork will be the main villain of the whole 3-parter. And the main characters that we will have from this crossover, and I'm taking characters from every single show. We will have Flash, obviously, Kid Flash, Spartan. We got the Adam Ray Palmer and the Adam Ryan Choi. Heatwave, because we got to have some. We need to have some other legends be a part of it, and I thought, why not just have Heatwave be there wishing Barry a happy birthday? Alex Danvers. And Oliver Queen, obviously, because we got to have the Spectre in here, and Cisco. One of the biggest letdowns that this season had was not including Cisco. So in this hypothetical situation, the actor who played Cisco, I forgot the actor's name. If you know the actor's name, let me know down in the comments. He will be brought into he's going to be in this season. That's something that is a non-negotiable for me. I absolutely love Cisco. He's one of my favorite characters, so he'll be brought back. And the main villain will obviously be Bloodwork. So the first part of the episode will mainly be the real episode. It'll mainly be the real episode of episode 9, where Bloodwork kind of takes down all the heroes simultaneously, and Barry and Kid Flash, Barry and Wally are trying to figure out a way to stop Bloodwork. But that the only difference is that it's not revealed until episode 2, part 2, of Wally's importance to the multiverse, along with Oliver's return. So part 1 will just be Wally and Barry. They'll have a fight scene against Bloodwork. Part 2 will deal with Wally finding out about Bloodwork's like why he needs Wally, and how Wally is able to connect to the multiverse and all that stuff. And then it'll end with Wally killing Barry and Barry waking up on Lian-Yu with Oliver. And then the third part will pretty much be an extended version of the final part of episode 9, where it's all the heroes coming together to try to stop Bloodwork. And we obviously have the scene where Oliver reunites with John. They have their goodbye. And Oliver obviously says, Ramsey Rosso, you have failed this city, and all that stuff. So that's something I really enjoyed. That's how those three episodes are going to be filled. I felt like it was such an unnecessary thing to make those 3 episodes filler, when they could have made it just one final proper crossover between the 3 shows, between as many shows as we could possibly have. So that's how the crossover goes. And then finally we have the Cobalt Blue arc. Now this whole episode, these all next 4 parts, part 1 of the Cobalt Blue story arc, part 1 will stay exactly the same. That is not changing at all. Part 1 of the Cobalt Blue storyline, that was just a perfect episode. It's one of the best episodes of The Flash ever. Seeing the events of Barry's mother's death happen in present Barry's perspective, and him seeing his past self and all that stuff, recreating the whole scene, that is what I felt was so perfect. So that episode is staying the exact same, and no differences will be had. The only thing that will be changing is that Iris will be on the verge of giving birth. Like, the episode will start with Iris getting ready to give birth. Like, her water will break or something. Part 2 will have Cisco in the episode, and it'll be and it's gonna be somewhat different by having Jay Garrick be in the episode, as he's the one to have the best connection with the Speed Force and has the best knowledge of what the negative Speed Force could possibly be doing. So Team Flash, Jay Garrick, Cisco, Allegra, Cecile, and Chester. The 5 of them, they're going to be trying to figure out what's going on with the negative Speed Force and where Barry is. Part 3 will focus on Eddie accepting the negative Speed Force and Barry trying to save him. Excess and Impulse will have a mini arc in this episode. Impulse. I'm bringing Impulse back into this episode because I believe Jordan Fisher wanted to be a part of the final season, but he wasn't able to due to kind of same thing with the actor who plays Cisco. It was just due to scheduling conflicts. So in this hypothetical scenario, both Excess and Impulse are in this episode. They'll have a mini arc in this episode, being the speedsters in Team Flash, while their father, Barry, is in space, and they'll kind of be the ones who are taking up a leadership role, so to speak, in the team. And then we will have, my bad. And then we have part 4, the final episode of The Flash, season 9 of The Flash show entirely. Part 4 will have the past villains. All the past villains have a bigger role. Reverse Flash, Zoom, Godspeed, and Savitar. All 4 of them will have bigger roles in this episode. At first, Barry will fight all of his villains, so he'll fight Cobalt Blue, Reverse Flash, Zoom, Savitar, and Godspeed, all 5 of them. He'll fight all of them at once, because I felt like that was something that should have happened in the episode itself. That should have just been such an interesting battle, but they didn't do it. In my version, they are doing it. So in my version, Barry's getting his ass kicked by all 5 speedsters, and he's saved by the rest of Team Flash, and the rest of Team Flash will consist of, well, I'll say who everyone goes up against. So it's Team Cobalt Blue versus Team Flash, where we have Flash versus Cobalt Blue, Cisco and Caitlin versus Reverse Flash and Zoom, so kind of a respectful thing of Cisco versus Reverse Flash, Caitlin versus Zoom. Excess and Impulse will go up against Savitar, and Wavelength and Virtue will go up against Godspeed, because I felt like they both are able to deal with the clones of Godspeed or whatever. Pretty much the episode will kind of end the same way that the actual episode ended, with Barry will get through to Eddie, and Eddie will stop being a bad guy, and the show will end the same way with Barry's final run speech. Baby Nora will be born. Barry will give his abilities to Max Mercury, Jesse Quick, and another person. I forgot who the other character was. But yeah, so that's the final episode will pretty much end the same way. And there you go. That is my pitch or reworking of The Flash season 9. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this pitch or reworking, sorry. If you guys liked it, let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed it. If you guys want me to do more DC related stuff, let me know down in the comments what other pitches or possible things you want me to do. I have an idea of what I want to do for another DC pitch, but it's going to take me a little bit of time to work on it. So if anything, that'll be my next pitch, if anything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Joshua from Ray's Reviews, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.